Hey guys, it's Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And not to be outdone by Jon Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy is now singing the praises of George Lucas.
Right. Then why did you undo everything?
Why did you undo everything George did?
So I sent this over to Kneon yesterday morning.
Yeah.
But we don't have a subscription to the Wrap, so I wasn't going to buy one just to read this article. So we didn't actually cover it until the day when more people put out there what was in the article. But I did see it. I did send it over to you yesterday morning.
Let them pay for it.
Yeah.
We have enough subscriptions. We have a bunch of sites. Let them pay for the Wrap. We don't need the Wrap too. So this is, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about John Boyega shouting down toxic Star Wars fans. But, this is the media using John Boyega to shout down toxic Star Wars fans as well. Screen rant. I wouldn't expect anything less. And then this Kylo Ren spin-off animated series.
I've heard about this. I haven't covered it, but I've heard about it for a couple weeks now, yeah.
Nobody wants this. So this is coming from Movie Web, originally coming from the Wrap. Future Star Wars plans teased by Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy. And she's praising George Lucas. Now that's not something she's done a lot in the past. She basically talked about the future being female and we're going to do Star Wars our way. But now she's trying to say that she was in on all of it with George. Her and George are besties. And that they're...
But then why is George Lucas mad about the way things were done if that was the case?
Why did he call The Force Awakens, why did he call Disney white slavers when they showed him The Force Awakens?
Yeah, it seems to me, why would they ruin Luke? If that was the case, Because
it's not the case, because I'm starting to think there's more truth to this behind the scenes power struggle, because you saw the reaction to Jon Favreau coming out in defense of the fans and talking about old school Star Wars and the fact that The Mandalorian, even people who hate the sequel trilogy, a lot of them, ourselves included, still like The Mandalorian because it feels like something George would have done.
Right.
Favreau gets it. Kennedy doesn't.
Now here comes Kennedy to try to make sure she gets her 5 cents, 2 cents, whatever, inflation, 5 cents in.
Because we can't let Jon Favreau take her job.
Not if there's an actual power struggle and you're trying to make sure you keep your control.
Right. So this is what she said on the Wrap. It's an ever-evolving process. When I personally came into this, George had already been having conversations with his previous actors, Carrie, Harrison, and Mark.
We have heard that before. I mean, we knew that he was already talking to them about it.
There was a saga that the fans loved and he never finished. That is actually not true. Now, he did originally intend to do... First it was, I think, 4 trilogies, and then he pared it down to 3 trilogies. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, you know what? Anakin dies at the end. That's it. We're good. And he said that repeatedly. He's like, it's a story of Darth Vader.
Right. But he did. I know he was talking to the actors about doing possible sequels before he sold it to Disney. I remember reading stuff about it, and I was all excited. I remember hearing about that.
So he always talked about doing 9 movies, and he was ready to complete that. And so our focus had been from the beginning on finishing that saga. And now we're stepping back. Stories have been told within this universe over the last 40 years, and now there's the realization that this is a mythology that actually spans about 25,000 years when you really start to look at all the different stories that have been told, whether it's in the books and games.
Oh, the books and games that you didn't care about before? You mean the books and games that you took away, you ended and said expanded universe is no longer valid? You mean that? My other comment to this is, wait, they said that their focus has been on this since the beginning. If that's the case, why did they take the story treatments that George Lucas gave them and throw them out the window, if that was their focus?
That's a damn good question. He gave you a roadmap, Kathy. Where did it go?
You should have bought a squirrel, Kathy.
You should have bought a squirrel. Where did it go, Kathy? Where did George's Star Wars treatment go? Because, clearly, he thought maybe you were talking to him, you and he were working through this, and they were going to give it to Disney, and those were the movies that were going to get made. And you know what? As soon as he was out of the way, you're like, screw you, George Lucas.
The Force is female.
The Force is female. We're going to take your treatment, wipe our ass with it, and do our own thing.
And now the books and the games, now that stuff was all not done well. Oh, by the way, we have 25,000 years to play in, and the books and the games have already done it. I'm like, you mean the ones that you said were no longer canon? Those ones? That you keep taking from now for characters like Thrawn and such?
Yeah, we have to go back and cherry pick the expanded universe that we burnt to the ground because we were arrogant, because we're Disney and Kathy's in charge, and it's Kathy's Star Wars universe now.
And if you ruin Mara Jade, there is going to be so much backlash, you have no idea.
God, this is just the arrogance, the sheer fucking hubris of Kathleen Kennedy. We just need time to step back and really absorb what George has created.
You didn't have that time for the decades that it was out there?
Well, Jon Favreau, he got it right.
Yeah, he absorbed it and he did it. Yeah, he did a great job. What's your excuse?
Then we have to start to think about where things might go.
You don't know yet? How many years have you had it?
How often do you actually talk to George? Or doesn't he return your calls anymore, Kathy, because you took his treatments and you wiped your ass with them? Maybe he doesn't call her back. Maybe he's...
Oh, I don't know. We can't say that, but maybe.
Yes, we can speculate.
We're speculating.
Speculation. That's what we've been doing. We've been having a great deal of fun doing it. Just
well, at least you are.
Diversity and dinosaurs. And meeting with lots of different filmmakers.
Oh, she does talk about, and as the same interview about how they're making sure they're pushing female directors and stuff moving forward. Which, you know, it's fine.
That's
I have no problem with it because I think like
Deborah Chow.
Yeah, Deborah Chow did an amazing job, and I like
yeah.
Deborah Chow because she's saying I happen to be a woman, but directing and doing a good job is my first priority. I'm like, yes. And then we had Bryce Dallas Howard, and she did a good job, and she was talking about how she wanted to do a good job with the characters, and those are women who are about telling good stories and not about what can I push. And then you have people like Leslie Headland that they hired and that Kathleen hired, and that's her big push lately. Anyway, continue.
There are so many fans out there. Well, there were a lot more of them. There's so many fans out there and so many filmmakers that have been influenced by Star Wars
That's true.
So long. It's a fantastic opportunity to get a sense of who wants to be a part of it. So that's what we've been doing.
Maybe you should have got a sense of what the heck that was about and followed that first.
This sounds to me like she's trying to, like Disney is asking her, what are you doing, Kathy?
Hurry, get myself an interview.
Yeah, what is the future of Star Wars, Kathy? Do you know what you're doing? Because I remember that the CEO at the one company I was at, he would do this with his VPs. He'd basically be like, so what's your plan? I need to know this is your review. If we're going to extend your contract, you got to give me a plan. Jon Favreau's like, we're just going to go back to basics and we're going to try to win back the old fans. Kathleen Kennedy's
and
like,
bring in new ones.
And bring in new ones. And Kathleen Kennedy's like, we're talking to a lot of people. We have a lot of pokers in the fire.
Well, you listen to her. That's what I was going to say. What are we getting from this? We're sitting back and watching. Well, okay, and maybe we should go back to what the books and the games did that I took and said were no longer canon. I'm like, really?
George,
that's your go-to?
Me and George were real good friends. We were pals. We were besties.
He just keeps talking about George in past tense too.
Because I don't think George Lucas is returning her calls anymore. I'm just gonna speculate. Because if she had a direct pipeline to George Lucas, things would be a hell of a lot different. It seems like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni can get a hold of George Lucas, though. Yeah,
you know what? Yeah, very much so. And their next paragraph, they're talking again about Rian Johnson and his trilogy still technically on the books. If she really cared about the fans and about saving the franchise, I wouldn't go with Rian Johnson.
No, and here's my thing, too. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't remember George Lucas being on set or photos of George Lucas being on set for any of the sequel trilogy movies. But he was on set for The Mandalorian.
Yep.
He was on set for The Mandalorian. So I think those guys, he returns their calls. Because I know he gets along really well with Dave Filoni anyway. Those guys, they get their phone calls returned. Kathy wiped her ass with the treatment.
Well, we're hearing from that other, what was that guy's name that was the Star Wars guy that was speaking out and got blocked?
Rinsler.
Rinsler. We're hearing from him that the whole environment of Lucasfilm completely changed when Kathy and Disney came in, and it wasn't as fun. It wasn't as, conducive to creativity. It wasn't about Star Wars so much as it was about agendas and things. We're hearing that from people who are actually involved in this.
So here's the thing. Disney is hurting for money. Disney has had a CEO change, and the guy who's in charge of Disney now, Bob Chapek, is very much a bean counter. He's a money guy. He's going to look at this and be like, under your watch, Kathy, Star Wars has declined. It's declined. It should have grown. Star Wars should have grown. And the only thing that the fans seem to like, Kathy, is The Mandalorian.
Oh, well, she tries to get credit for that, too. Talking about Baby Yoda and how Baby Yoda was always planned. And because there was an argument before that she was trying to say she can't Baby Yoda.
Bullshit.
Well, she might have, for all we know. We don't know. But I'm just saying, she's like, oh, it was already intended. He was always intended to be there. Well, no one was arguing that Baby Yoda was always intended to be part of the Mandalorian story. No one ever argued that. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
just
that's
that,
the whole plot of the show.
Yeah, but now she's like, but I knew I was involved. There was an argument basically that was going on about who created it. Favreau was saying he kind of did. She was saying she did. We don't know. But that was going on. I'm just like, this is a big cluster. And outside looking in, it just looks, it's not a good look.
I think there are going to be some changes. This, to me, and this is kind of, we called it with the Crunchyroll thing, that there seemed like there were interviews being done to justify their existence. And then it turned out that AT&T was actually looking at selling them off. This, to me, sounds like Jon Favreau has been getting too much positive buzz for praising George Lucas and wanting to go back.
And for saying that the core fans matter.
Core fans matter. That now all of a sudden she's like, yeah, George and I are like this, and we had a roadmap we built together, and we're going to go back to that, and we're just kind of waiting to see what happens.
That's just like the Leslie Headland thing. Yeah. Like apparently the people, bigwigs at Disney, didn't even know that she was going to do this until it was announced kind of in an article that she went and got herself an interview for to try to make sure that she cornered them into a corner. Well, if you don't hire me, everybody thinks it now. You're just against women and diversity, so they have to. Or it's a bad look, And then you said about Chapek and Iger. The difference too, besides Chapek being a bean counter, is he's got the responsibility now of saving the company.
Yeah, he has to save Disney.
Iger was all about his legacy and how he was going to overspend and make Star Wars huge and all this other stuff to make him that he was, I am Iger, I am here. And now the company is in shambles, and it's up to Chapek to perform. He has to pull it out. Do not stop.
There is a joke about what's been done in the franchise.
Yep, but nope. So anyway, it's his job now to fix it. Okay, we'll go that. We'll use that one instead.
So what you're saying is it's his job to unfuck Star Wars.
Pretty much. Well, just Disney in general.
I don't think I can call that the title of the video.
No.
That would be very funny, though.
No, you can't. You can't, though.
But dang it, YouTube.
See, I want to go on record as saying the one who keeps using the F word all the time is not me.
Because it's funny. And it also makes sure that people know these aren't kid videos, and then we don't get complaints about, the kids are watching your dirty Star Wars videos, and I hate you, Clownfish TV.
Well, they hate us even if it's not
that's
about
everybody.
That, so.
That's everybody. Especially the She-Ra fans. They really
I don't know. Disney people
really
aren't too keen on it either.
No, yeah, just wait. Just you wait.
I know.
Anyway, so that is one mess going on here, and it does feel like there is a power. It does feel like there's a power struggle. They keep denying it, but I think
it does come across that way.
I think it's down to Favreau and Filoni versus Kennedy.
Like she doesn't. When he talks about it, he hardly mentions her. But she mentions him. Do you notice that? Like she mentions
I'm
Favreau.
taking credit for him.
Yes. He doesn't mention her hardly ever. But she makes sure she gets in there about him. Oh, we're on the same team. Yeah, I got his plan. I was in on his plan. I made his plan.
She is unnecessary middle management that's actually complicating things.
It's hindering things.
It's hindering things. And I've had bosses like this. I've had bosses before where they were the go-between between like me and the CEO, and eventually the CEO just pushed them out of the way because they're like, I need to have direct communication with you because I don't know what.
Because you're the one doing the work.
You're the one doing the work, but the boss is coming in and taking credit for your work.
Yeah, you're the one with the ideas, and they presented it as theirs. That kind of thing. Yeah.
This has happened on 2 different occasions with me, and I didn't get a promotion or anything, but they realized that the middle manager was an idiot. And it was they just got lucky a lot of times.
Well, the one person, that was their MO. They only stayed at a company for a year or two until the person realized they were an idiot.
Now, I think that's what's going on with Kathleen Kennedy. Like they got lucky with The Mandalorian, but that wasn't her doing. She's trying to take credit for it, but that was Favreau and Filoni that put that together.
Right. What she was responsible for was the sequel trilogy, and we aren't hearing much about that. Like when she's like kind of glossing over it.
And the High Republic, which looks like a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I understand, they're trying to maybe possibly strong arm Disney into keeping her on because it's a bad look. But you know what a bad look really is? A lot of red on the ledger.
Yeah. Toys not selling. Fans very upset. And then, even when you had The Last Jedi and you alienated a lot of fans, you still had a bunch of people who were on board with you, and then you alienated them with The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm going to say it again, people keep comparing the sequel trilogy to the prequel trilogy. At least the prequel trilogy sold toys.
And at least it was consistent.
It was consistent. Some people might say consistently
bad. Yeah.
So let's talk about this since we're talking about Star Wars, the media using John Boyega. They love it that John Boyega has come out against Star Wars fans, but he hasn't come out against all Star Wars fans, and they're not saying what he's having a problem with. Now, remember, John Boyega told Raylos to go take a hike a couple of months ago.
Well, apparently people are making racist comments, which I completely believe happens.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, I'm not going to say it doesn't because I know it does. But most people that I've talked to were upset that Finn got shafted in the sequel trilogies because they wanted John Boyega to be the lead. They wanted more Finn, or at least co-lead. They wanted that. That's what they wanted, John Boyega. They
built him up. I'm going to say, they built Finn up to be the main character of, or at least the co-main character of the sequel trilogy, and then they sidelined him.
Well, I think that's what they were setting the whole story up about him being an ex-stormtrooper and all that. I think was to build him up to be used in some way. He was one of the lightsaber before Rey at the end. He was fighting Kylo Ren before Rey did. Why? How could he use it? How could he kind of even succeed as much as he did? I think they were setting him up for something, and then they completely dropped the ball with The Last Jedi, which we can just, pretty much say The Last Jedi in general dropped the ball. But, I don't know what his beef is. They're saying it's toxic fans, but they don't clarify what toxic is. I think they're trying to say it's racist people.
Well,
okay.
It might be, because, I know he's been speaking his mind on Twitter, but Screen Rant just assumed that he was talking specifically about racist, toxic Star Wars fans when he doesn't actually say this in the 2 tweets. The toxic Star Wars fans still find their way into my mentions. Lord, must I be blunt? I don't fuck with you no more. Lord waited so long to tell the toxic fans to fuck off.
Back off.
Oh, back off. I don't think we're gonna get a Finn series on Disney Plus.
No.
I'm just gonna speculate. I don't think we're getting a Finn show. I don't think he's real happy with how Finn was treated. But the thing is, John, there are a lot of us out there who were not.
And just because people don't like the sequel trilogy doesn't mean that they're racist people. Oh, people in the comments immediately went to Kelly Marie Tran. People didn't really care that Kelly Marie Tran was Asian. They didn't like Rose. It had nothing to do with her. I mean, they shouldn't have harassed her. I mean, it's like if you don't like Finn, you shouldn't harass John Boyega. I mean, they didn't make the characters, right? They just acted the part. It was his job.
Right.
But yeah. But this one's touchy anyway because there's been some comments said by Boyega lately too that have upset people as well. So
gotten pretty political, but it's interesting that Boyega and Mark Hamill are like hanging out behind the scenes because they never got to hang out together on screen, and I think they probably both wanted that. Because I'm just gonna be honest, I'm gonna play armchair director here, but I think having an ex-stormtrooper be trained as a Jedi,
that would have been awesome.
That would have been a much more interesting story than what we got. All right, other Star Wars news, things nobody asked for. Kylo Ren spin-off series, because we got a... Why?
Yeah, well, no, I'm not surprised, but,
why?
Well, now they're saying that the Darth Vader, I think it's the book series, is going to somehow tie into Rey and her journey and everything. Because they're doubling down on trying, instead of, fixing it, they're doubling down on trying to save it, which you can't save it.
You can't save it. Just, you get to a point where, look, even in the Bible... I'm going to bring up the Bible. In the Old Testament, if your house is full of mold, this is a thing in the Bible. Your house was moldy and it was beyond saving. You're supposed to just burn it down and go build a new house. And that is Star Wars at this point. Like the sequel trilogy era is not salvageable. Just forget about it. You done screwed up. Step over it and move on to other things that people actually would like. Because that you can't make people like these characters retroactively. You can't go back and make people like Rey. You can't go back and explain.
Well, it's going to be about Ben Solo, I think, and how he became like Kylo Ren. So it's a little bit different.
Luke in there too, but then we know how the story ends.
Right. Well, depressing. So I don't mind maybe seeing Ben Solo and how he got there, as long as they don't make Luke like, I tried to kill my nephew, which characterly speaking didn't make any sense for Luke.
And then they'll introduce a bunch of rando characters that were never mentioned in the movies at all.
Diversity in dinosaurs.
Yeah, and Luke didn't actually train him.
I think they've hinted at that. They've hinted that there's been somebody else who actually trained him.
Yeah, they'll have a woman come in because Luke was too incompetent to train him. And all Luke wanted to do was stab him in his sleep.
That's right, because he was an asshole.
Oh, God.
And Luke's terrible because he's a man.
Just stop. Just Disney, if you want to save Star Wars, get Kathleen Kennedy out of the way. Forget about the sequel trilogy. It was a wasted opportunity. George did not want this. You know, he said as much in interviews. He didn't want this. This was not the sequel trilogy he planned, and Kathleen Kennedy's lying. So, she's lying. All right, we're going to wrap this up?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we will talk to you guys later. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Goodbye.
Bye.